Today we are going to be putting together the Producer's Pride garden chicken coop. And this is the one that we are going to be putting together. Come with me on a step-by-step on how to put this one together, what I think of the quality, and compare it to other chicken coops I've had in the past. Here we have all of our little baggies with our nuts, our bolts, our small hardware. The directions. If you're a real man like me, you're going to take these and just throw them away because you don't need them. You don't, really. That you will need as of the start of this video: a wrench, safety glasses, gloves, tape measure, a mallet, a drill, and a ladder. We'll see. Tools you will actually need: a half-inch socket, 10mm open box and wrench, a small Phillips head, a nut driver with a 5/16 bit, a drill with a bigger Allen. We might need some of the other ones, but I know for a fact those are what we're going to need to fit all of the hardware. Now, it does not say anywhere in the instructions, yes, I did actually look at them, on what size of tools you need, just that little picture on the front. So I'm trying to save you a step and give you the actual tools. Let's start putting this thing together. So before we get too far into this project, I wanted to point out that this chicken coop comes with a painted fiber board floor. Now, I've had chickens for quite a long time. I don't much care for the fiberboard floors because the chickens, they peck at it, they poop on it. Cleaning it, it absorbs moisture, it'll ruin faster than anything else. With that said, I also do not like the galvanized metal floors because pretty much the same reason. With the poop and chicken wear, it rusts. It only lasts a year or so, then it starts getting real nasty. So I'm on my way to go get some linoleum floor and put down on this. So stay tuned, I will be right back. Here's the chicken coop floor done with the linoleum. Like I said, I highly recommend this. It will make the floor last longer, and it'll make it easier to clean. So on these front brackets, you got a big hole and a smaller hole. The smaller hole goes towards the chicken coop, so the bigger adjuster hole will be for the screens that come out. Okay, now that you got most of the walls up, it's telling us to go inside. We have bar 21, bar 13, bar 13, 37 nuts. And it's going to go right here, back to this hole, and then to that hole and that hole. This will be the start of the cage for the nest boxes. Part number 14 just kind of fits in. $15. $15. Now that the nest boxes are in, it's time to put the roost bars. Number 16 goes front to back. 17 side to side. Okay, so 16 front to back, 17 and 17 side to side. At this point, we now have all four walls, including the back door, on. Now is when I go up and tighten, snug everything down. No matter if you're building a chicken coop or IKEA furniture, kind of put it together first, make sure everything lines up, then come back and snug it all. Just don't forget to come back and snug it all. This is where I'm going to break in. Do not snug these bottom ones. There are 4 of them along the bottom here, because you're just going to have to take them all the way back out to put the splash guard in. So don't even worry about tightening these ones up, because you have to take them out in the future. I went through and I tightened up all the screws. It told me to hang this back door, okay? Back door's on, but it's kind of windy. Keeps blowing my door open. A little further ahead in the directions. It does not say to put the latch on until the very last step. I'm gonna go ahead and do it now. Remember I told you to leave those 4 bottom screws loose because you're having to take them out anyways? Yep, this is that step. I gotta take these back out to put this splash guard in. And my ground is not perfectly level, and I have to knock down these high spots to get the splash guards on. So just for your reference, if your ground is not completely level, you might be doing a little bit of digging. These metal screen gates do go on a certain way. The back, there will be 2 holes, and on top, there will be 1 hole. If you put these on wrong, they will not line up with the ground. So if they're not lining up with the ground, you need to flip them over so the hole in the front is up at the top. Now, before you tighten these down, it is going to be very important to make sure that these are exactly the same height. There will be some crossbars going in that will attach to both sides, and they need to be the same height. So make sure before you tighten this all down that both of these panels are exactly the same height. And this is where making sure that they're the exact same height comes into play, because this attaches to the back and the front panel, and if they are not even, you ain't getting the bolt holes to line up. Once again, in tightening all this up, I cannot stress enough to make sure that your top bars are all perfectly even, because when you go to put the roof on, it's going to make a difference. So in the kit, you get these little helper brackets that you can clip on that help hold the roof sheeting from slipping down. Now, I went ahead and pulled them, but you can leave them in there. So here I ran into a nice little problem with the self-tapping sheet metal screws that you were supposed to put in. If you go in the holes that they provide in the roofing, you go through the first little piece of sheet metal, and then you go into the upper square piece that holds your boards in, and it ends up stripping out. So with these holes, I highly recommend do not use the pre-drilled holes in the roofing. Go up about a ½ inch and then sink it. You're not going to get water into the chicken coop if you don't fill that hole, but you will not strip out so many bolts until you figure it out. So it is very important to line this side up equal with the other side. When you go to put the ridge cap on, they have to line up because the screws are pre-drilled in the ridge cap and they have to line with the ridges on this roofing. Since I made you watch me screwing the other side down all the way, I am going to cut this side short. You just do the same thing. Once again, make sure to put your bolts in on the bottom here, about an inch above the holes, so that way you don't end up hitting the metal underneath and stripping it out. Now that you have both sides screwed at the bottom and they're aligned, now comes the fun part of trying to get up on a step stool or a ladder and screw the top of the roof down. It will use the same self-tapping sheet metal screws that you used on the bottom. And to make sure that they stay lined up while I'm tightening it, I'll do what I can reach, then I'll go over to the other side, do what I can reach, back and forth, until you get to all the way to the front. And if you took your time and you have everything aligned, this piece, which is the ridge cap, just screws on really easily. There's pre-drilled holes in the metal. You do have to drill into this plastic roofing, but they screw in real easy. Quick note, do not put screws in the two last holes, because when you put this piece on, you will line up the two first holes on this piece with the two last holes on the other piece, and then you will put a screw in them. And then you'll do that again with the next piece. And if you lined everything up correctly, this should go very easily. The hardest thing on this is my ground was kind of soft, so my step stool did not want to stay upright, and I kept sinking, and it almost made me fall off a couple times. So be careful of that. So the last step for me is to hang this door and put the latch on. I did not do the chicken in and out door for the main coop because I am recycling one of my automatic doors, so I did not need to put it on. It's very simple. It just slides right in, and then you hook the release to it that you can activate from the outside. I will be doing another quick video illustrating after the fact on my automatic in and out chicken door. So after building this, here are my thoughts. This chicken coop is probably one of the most sturdiest chicken coops that I have purchased and not built myself. With the metal outer frame and the wood inlay, I really like this chicken coop, especially with the modifications that I have done to it. And part of those modifications you've already seen when I put the linoleum in on the floor. The chicken coops that I don't necessarily care for, which I have bought in before, like this one and this one and this one and this one that I've screenshotted off of Amazon, for the price, I mean, you're going to get like 2 years out of them. They're going to start getting sun rotted. Almost all of them have a galvanized metal floor that rusts pretty easily. If you're not wanting to make your own chicken coop, which I have done before, basically made a garden shed and turned it into a chicken coop. When I had my bigger flock, that worked. That was probably the best chicken coop I've ever had. But if you're not having a big flock and you don't have a big yard, that's kind of overkill. So for the construction of this one, I'm going to give it 8 out of 9 stars. We'll see how well it actually keeps up. I do have a pretty good feeling after the summer with the sun beating on it, and then winter time, I'm definitely going to have to do some wood treating on that to keep the wood good, because it's just cheap pine wood, and left out to the elements, it's going to go bad. If you guys like this video, please hit the subscribe button. I do a lot of these little kind of DIYs, working on your own vehicles. Spring's coming, there'll be a lot more outdoor stuff.